Welcome to Season 4 of the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom, where we discuss business agility through customer experience, employee experience, and digital transformation. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom. The Agile World podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to teksystems.com. To read more about the topics discussed on this show, you can go to my website at gregkihlstrom.com and read my latest articles or get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, now available on Amazon and other retailers. My name is Greg Kihlstrom, and I'm the host of the Agile Brand podcast. Today we're going to talk about improving the customer experience with conversational AI. To help me discuss this topic, I'd like to welcome Bob Summers, CEO of Goodcall. Bob, welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about this with you. Why don't we start by you giving a little background on yourself as well as what you're currently doing at Goodcall?
Yeah, Greg. So my journey on Goodcall started about 9 years ago when I started working with small and local businesses and trying to find ways to bring interesting technology to help them every day. Local businesses are the backbone of our economy. They tend to have a difficult time accessing technologies. So about 5 years ago, I was working on a project at Google to help grow businesses through advertising. And I noted that small businesses were having a tough time with their customer experience, answering calls. I think we all have an experience where you call a local restaurant or you try to get a plumber over. Maybe you're doing a kitchen repair and you try to call the business and nobody answers, or you get voicemail or something along those lines. And I'm a technical founder and was monitoring this field called conversational AI quite closely. Conversational AI is like Amazon Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant. These are all conversational AI products for consumers. And my thesis was that what if we could take this technology and make it available for SMBs, small and medium-sized businesses. So these would be businesses that are solo shops all the way up to, say, maybe 50 million a year in revenue, something along those lines. So that's the journey we're on. We founded the company about a year ago as a spin out of Google. It was kind of incubated at Google's Area 120 initially, and it turned out that it could grow faster outside of the large enterprise. So we're a year into it. We raised a $4 million round last year to get us started.
Well, yeah, and congrats on that that round as well. Well, yeah, let's dive in here. So your company is described as helping businesses grow with accessible AI. I thought that was an interesting description. In addition to defining the term conversational AI, I appreciate you doing that for the audience. Can you describe what is your definition of accessible AI and why is this so important?
Yeah, so there's a couple of components here, but when we talk about accessibility in this regard, it's that the product is easy to use. So there's a kind of a wave of technologies now, like this no-code element. Maybe some of your listeners have heard of no-code, which allows anybody, a salesperson, a marketer, someone who doesn't have any technical skills or low technical skills to be able to build something of value. And so when we talk about accessibility, we're thinking about how can an average person with general tech capability create a conversational AI that can work for them. So that's the first component, which is make it really easy to use. Take the power of something. So conversational AI, in terms of its deployments, have been in two markets. Consumer, as I mentioned, like Alexa, Google Assistant, and Siri, and enterprises, like really big enterprises, like Apple. Like if you ever had an issue with your Apple phone, you called Apple, you're going to talk to a conversational AI first. If you've talked to Verizon or like big telecom or even airlines, your first round is through some kind of conversational AI. But what's missing is that what's missing in terms of solutions is that other market, which is the SMB market. So we want to enable that group to be able to technically implement the product at low cost. And so there's the second dimension is that, so first is ease of use, and second is it's cost effective. So big enterprises can spend millions and millions of dollars annually to build their conversational AIs. This is obviously way beyond what an SMB can spend. And so we've made our product affordable in the sense that you can start using it at no cost per month. And then our premium tier is only $49 per month per location. So it's a huge difference in price.
Yeah, definitely. And so, that's a lot of the larger orgs that I work with completely agree that the price tags and the resources needed are, well beyond what an SMB would be able to be able to invest in or afford and things like that. What motivates you, I guess, about approaching the SMB market? What's the opportunity and what's your motivation for seeing that through?
Yeah, so first of all, I've witnessed firsthand, not only as a consumer, like a caller of these local businesses, but I have many friends that run these businesses, hair salon, barbers, contractors, lawn mowing. These are like people that I know that struggle just to manage opportunity. And so what I mean by that is that when like the phone channel is the primary channel for this particular group of customers. So if you're a business that's getting more calls than you can manage, what happens? The experience is terrible. You're going to get just a ringing phone line, voicemail, or maybe you're put on hold for a long time. And that customer experience is just, it's bad for the customer, it's bad for the business. And if you're a platform like Google or Yelp that maybe made that introduction, it's bad for them too.
Yeah.
And so our team like wakes up every day eager to essentially add value to every single call that comes into a business, because Greg, when they don't answer the call, it's lost opportunity to gain a customer or lost opportunity to retain an existing one. So this is what we're just really passionate about it. And we see that there's a massive gap in terms of solutions in the marketplace.
Yeah.
There's either consumer or there's stuff at the enterprise. And there's another piece of this too, which the audience might appreciate, which is that you might be a larger size enterprise. This caught me by surprise. I was talking to a customer earlier this week, and they said that they were evaluating standing up a contact center. So this is a business with a couple hundred stores, and they were evaluating what it would cost, because calls are just, so a couple of things are going on. Like there's a labor shortage. So there's like they're struggling to answer calls. And this is really impacting their business in terms of revenue. And so this enterprise is like, okay, what would it cost for us to stand up our own contact center or call center? And the early cost it was at least $1 million a year to like stand up something with decent quality. And so that's like the one solution he's looking at. The next one is, and they'd already tried this, was spending a few $1,000s per month on an answering service. And the quality was just terrible, right? So these answering services, they're form filling, they're people, they don't really know the business.
Right.
So the area that we're at is there's something in the middle, which is essentially an AI which you can train and it learns with every call. And that's what Goodcall is all about. It's like learning about your business. And when calls come in, it can route these calls to self-help online websites that you may have built, like for appointments or pricing, any kinds of investments you've made digitally. Goodcall is very good at moving people in that direction.
Nice. So while we're at it here, we're on audio already. How do you feel about doing a quick demo to kind of show off how it works?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'd be happy to share one of our agents during this call.
Great. Yeah.
So what I've done, so Goodcall is really simple to set up. I've already set one up, and but it just takes a couple of minutes at goodcall.com. We're going to call this agent.
Call recorded for quality. Thank you for calling Performance Coaches Unlimited. How can I help you?
What's your pricing?
We offer coaching by the hour or with a subscription. A more detailed list of options is on our website. Can I send you the link?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, sending you the link now. How else can I help you?
Are you open on Sunday?
We closed then and open the following Monday at 7 a.m. How else can I help you?
What's your COVID policy?
We are following the local policies. Currently, there is no mask mandate or vaccine requirement to meet our coaches. Our coach can meet online or with a mask in person upon request. How else can I help you?
Can I get an appointment?
Getting an appointment with one of our performance coaches is easy from our website. Can I send you the link?
Yes.
Okay, sending you the link now. How else can I help you?
That's it. Goodbye.
Thanks for calling Performance Coaches Unlimited. It was a pleasure to serve you. Goodbye.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, so there's a sample of what a Goodcall agent can do. We have these skills in the product that are very easy to set up based on the kind of business that you are. The product is vertical agnostic, meaning that if your business has a phone number, there are things that it can do for you, like greet your customers, and it can do things different when you're open versus closed. It can take messages like an answering service, like collect names and messaging. That's better than voicemail. It can direct calls for appointments or table reservations for like restaurants and things of that nature. So,
yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, and so you mentioned this definitely can have an impact on the customer experience because you're able to get exactly what you need and consistent delivery of information. It sounds like it's a benefit for the owner. One other potential benefit here I can think of would be, what about the other employees of an organization? I mean, they're picking up the phone, answering what are your hours, and they're trying to do their day job or whatever it is, restocking shelves or whatever the rest of their day job may be. Can you talk a little bit about that component?
yeah, so there's this really interesting tension that occurs in many of these smaller stores where you have people that are doing a balancing act between what they're doing in person and also like serving someone on the phone. And a product like Goodcall does something really fantastic, which is it triages inbound calls, meaning there can be spam or scam calls that come in. It virtually eliminates those because the machine, you have to be able to talk to the machine in a way that it understands to get through. And I mean, you can ask the machine, hey, I need to talk to somebody, and it'll route that call. But these like spam robots can't do that. So what this means is when the phone does ring, so we're not trying to eliminate calls into the business. Definitely not. But there are so many repetitive calls that a machine can do that the solution is really they're augmenting that staff that's on the ground so they can focus on the thing that they're good at, right? So I think as we've seen like wages go up in this country, owners and even the individuals want to do things that matter, right? And answering the phone and telling someone they're open or closed tomorrow, or they need to wear a mask, or some of these other like, hey, you can order our product from our website, or here's our pricing schedule. Like these are things that are better done with machines. And this is kind of like where we think, part of the future of work is like automation of these mundane tasks. And conversational AI, I can report is doing quite well at moving these types of tasks and automating them so the people in the store can do their job. So one data point, we have a large customer with hundreds of stores in the home services market, and we're converting almost 30% of their inbound calls to online transactions. And these were missed calls, like calls they couldn't answer at the store that the machine picked up and converted to paid. And that's just a dramatic change. Yeah. And we see that university, like, callers may not be aware, oh, there's an online option, or like, you know what? I thought I needed to talk to somebody, but I don't want to wait anymore. Let me just go ahead and use that website and get this thing done.
Yeah, that's great. You touched on some already, but just wanted to ask, as far as what are some of the other measurable KPIs that businesses should consider when adopting a tool like this?
Yeah, so the number one is revenue, right? So if the business has invested in online infrastructure, so digital infrastructure to take orders or whatever the transaction of that business is, the machine is really good at moving them via links to those resources, and those can be tracked, right? So we could actually attribute directly, the machine is generating this much revenue fantastic, right? Reduction in spam calls, meaning calls that are, so there's another, like when the phone does ring, is it valuable to me? The next one would be, is there more traffic to the online systems? And that, am I seeing efficiency in my staff, like doing things in the store, addressing other tasks? So like if they're measuring efficiency in some manner, they should see an increase there.
Great. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and just talk a little more broadly about conversational AI and how it affects customer experience in the enterprise. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of experience in conversational AI, not even just at Goodcall, and worked in the space in a few different ways. Where do you see it going in the near future in terms of transforming CX for maybe some larger brands?
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting activities going on out there. There's a group of companies. This is like the enterprise call center is not our sweet spot, but I'm very close with many people that are. There's a lot of augmented capability out there that's helping humans. So like when a company, there's a company called Cresta that is helping call center agents with their scripts, like understand like, oh, the customer is upset, you should be more empathetic, or make sure you have a strong closing. Here, the agent is kind of helping or coaching the human while it's going on. So there's another dimension of when conversational AI is not just like this talking thing, but it's like listening and coaching actively.
Interesting.
And that's really cool because it's helping those people be more effective in a way that they could not be before. And then kind of beyond that, so the other dimension more on the side of where Goodcall is. So note that our market segment is not call centers. Our market segment is, fully digital, but assisting these SMB, the SMB market. Is that if I can wave a magic wand, Goodcall knows everything it can about your business and can answer on behalf of you when you are not available. And it's fully plugged into all of your digital systems. So it's your voice assistant. It is your business assistant that's interfacing with your customers every single day, no matter what mode they come to you, whether that be voice, chat, VR in the metaverse, like whatever it is, your business has this voice that understands your business and all of its digital hooks. And so that's where I think if we look in the future in like 5 years or so, you might not even have a phone number to call. You would just tap the button for your agent, the agent of this business, and transact with it in an efficient way. Because it's fully scalable, Greg. It's never busy. It never forgets. It certainly doesn't walk out the door the next day and take all its knowledge with it, right? So it's quite compelling. I mean, the advantage of digital. And then there's also the analytics side, which is because when I talk to these SMBs, many of them they don't know how many calls they got yesterday. They're not measuring these KPIs. So how can they make it better? How can they drive marketing? I mean, the story of Goodcall started with, driving phone calls to small businesses and people not answering the phone. I mean, like, this is really frustrating. Like, I'm driving dozens of calls to small businesses. When I say me, like Google driving dozens of calls to a small business, and they can't answer the phone to grow because they don't have the capacity to answer the phone. So it's like your hands are tied if you don't have a scaled capacity in this channel.
Yeah, I like that. Just that concept of augmentation. And, I think that's even less scary to some that are less familiar with the concept than replacement. Right. It's really, that coaching thing is very cool. I got to check that out. But even what you're talking about with Goodcall and the SMBs is, it is augmenting someone who just simply cannot, for whatever reason, pick up the phone at the moment. And at the scale and the volume of leads and opportunities at a small or medium business, they can't afford to miss those. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. Next time you're sitting in the chair at a barbershop, or you're getting your nails done, or you're at the host stand at a restaurant, open your ears and see how many times you can hear the phone ring, or someone's going to stop serving you and go answer the phone. Yeah. And it's actually bad for everybody. And so here's this we need to help, and machines can help and augment so that those people can do what they're best at.
Yeah, love it. Are there for those that are, those SMBs out there that are, that this sounds like a good move? Are there any first steps, or is there any things that they should kind of have thought through or have, thought put together before they endeavor on, on something like this?
Yeah, so I mean, one thing is I always recommend small businesses to make sure that they're online in some way, so that they're on Yelp and Google, right? That people need to find you in some way, and so you'd be surprised at how many really small businesses, just like the mom and pops, like don't think about getting online. And this is like just marketing 101 for these businesses. Get your profile online. And the reason I say that is that once people can find you, they're going to start in all these profiles, they have phone numbers. And this is where you want to put that Goodcall phone number so that when someone calls, that opportunity is captured and it's not lost.
One last question before we wrap up. So, in addition to your role at Goodcall, you're also active in the startup community, founding 460 Angels, being involved with other initiatives related to startups. From your perspective, what's the most exciting area that you think is going to generate some successful startups in the near future?
Yeah, I think that AI is really driving so many things in terms of like workforce development, creating new efficiencies and productivity in the world. I kind of touched on this a little bit with like augmenting staff. I think that we are just at the very beginnings of where this technology can take us, and it's a really, really bright future ahead.
Agreed. Well, Bob, thanks so much for joining the show. For those listening, what's the best way for them to keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter at Bob S, or find me over on LinkedIn.
Wonderful. Well, again, I'd like to thank Bob Summers, CEO of Goodcall, for joining the show. Thanks for listening to The Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom. Talk with you next week. Thanks again for listening to The Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom podcast, brought to you by Tech Systems. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.theagilebrand.show. To get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, visit my website at gregkihlstrom.com. Until next week, stay agile.